Lost Beach Boy.
Show. Your beauty, it constantly grows. You be in my heart with you though. Your smile, that lovely glow. You know what we know that you show. Your beauty, it constantly grows. You be in my heart with you though. Your smile, that lovely glow. I'm just glad you ever thought of me, 'cause you're the only thought I need. Baby, if I'm being honest, please don't ever be apart from me. I'm just glad you ever thought of me, 'cause you're the only thought I need. Baby, if I'm being honest, please don't ever be apart from me. Please don't do it. You know what we know that you should.
Hello. Hello, everyone in the chat. I have a lot of people I gotta thank because I got a bunch of followers the other night after I raided a friend of mine. See if I can read these. Okay. Alright, well, first I'm gonna pull myself up. Hey, everybody. Boop the zero, yeah. Hey, Paris, Snowfox, Sora, and all my lurkers, how you doing? No hands tonight. I'm feeling a little under the weather. I feel better now. I thought about calling off stream, but every time I do that, I say that and then I just do stream anyways. I did promise my girlfriend that if I feel worse or start feeling really sick, I'll stop. So we're going to do something light tonight. I want to apologize. I know I said earlier in the day that we would do new Pokemon Snap tonight, but I'm just feeling so low energy. I've been sick all afternoon since I got off work. Kind of glad that tomorrow is an at-home work day, and I don't have to go to any sites. I feel like I might have caught a stomach bug or something, which is going to suck because they're probably going to ask me to take another COVID test, and I won't be able to go on site until I've done it, and I need to go on site. So, but it's the environment I work in. Well, I don't interact with kids. Kids interact with the people I work with, so it's possible one of them got sick and passed on to somebody else. If you go puke on a kitten. There's none in my apartment anymore. My one roommate moved out and she took her cats with her. Also, hi Brad. So we're just gonna chill and watch some videos tonight. There's one video I planned on starting. Thanks, Snowfox. By the way, Snowfox, thank you so much. You did a lot of work to take care of a lot of bot accounts. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm actually thinking of doing a mod appreciation stream soon because my mods have been working overtime. Karama, Snowfox, Oni, Nightman, all you guys. That's a butt. Yes, I know. All you guys have been working hard and making sure the streamers are protected. Especially me. So I'm thinking of some kind of mod appreciation stream. I don't know what we're gonna do. I might talk to you guys in the mod chat in my server, see what you guys want. But I just know that I super appreciate all the work you guys are doing. Like, I'm not too worried about bots, but it's something that I should be cautious of anyways. But yeah, thanks again for all your hard work. I super appreciate it. You have no idea. So tonight we're gonna watch videos, I think. I've gotten permission from a YouTuber I follow. I've been following for a long time. I asked him a while ago, is it cool if I watch your videos on stream? He gave me the thumbs up, so we're maybe gonna watch one of those. You guys ever heard of Stop Skeletons from Fighting? If you haven't, you guys are in for a treat. They are the dumbest video game YouTube channel on YouTube, self-proclaimed dumbest YouTube video game channel, video game related channel. They make quality content. I've been following Derek, or Uncle Derek, who's part of the channel since since the early days, since like since he used to do the Happy Video Game Nerd, which was a video series originally a video he did for a contest called Out Nerd the Nerd, and it ended up being really successful, so he kept doing it. He introduced me to a lot of cool games, and some that I'm just like, huh? Like, for example, D. I did a Let's Play of that a few years ago, and I was kind of disappointed by the ending, but I do really want to get my hands on Enemy Zero. I've actually come across Enemy Zero physically a few times, but almost every time I find it, discs are missing. And for those of you who don't know, Enemy Zero is a 3-disc Sega Saturn game. There's disc 0, which is the training, and then there's disc 1 and 2 for the full game. And I do want to stream. If I ever get my hands on that, I'm going to stream it. Because I really want to play Enemy Zero. It's a really creepy game. It's like one of the coolest horror games I've ever seen. Speaking of horror games, I have a poll in my server going right now. That where you guys can vote. The voting ends tonight. Hi Hannah, good to see you. Good to see you. The voting ends tonight, and it's choosing what game to stream for Rasker Month. So if you guys want to get in on that, here's the straw poll link. It's also in the Discord server. Also, for those of you who are interested in the Fansly content, tonight is the last night you can get $1 off subscription. So, literally, September ends tonight on both Twitch and Fansly. So, if you guys want to get discounts on either Twitch or Fansly subs, now's the time to do it. I'd link my Fansly here, but probably get in trouble for doing that. So, just go to my Twitter, you'll find it. But anyways, we're gonna watch this one video and then I'll do a poll and you guys can choose the next video. And we'll go from there. So for those of you who, if you've never seen Stop Skeletons from Fighting, you guys are in for a treat. Because these guys, like Derek has made some awesome videos, and with his with Grace, his partner, they've made some great videos. So let me just go to the Zero Stream screen where I get all comfy. Yeah. Don't out me for my YouTube main screen. But literally the video I want to watch is right here. So are you guys ready for the dumbest YouTube channel? Because I am. Just wanted to say hi, then dip back out trying to finish Cowboy Bebop tomorrow, 11 episodes to go. Good luck. I still need to watch Cowboy Bebop. I'm bad. But good to see you, Hannah. Have a good one. Okay. Of course it's an ad. Why wouldn't it be? Why would I think otherwise? I mean, Uncle Derek's got to pay the bill somehow, right? So, all right, guys. Let's do this. So, okay. All right. After this, I might show one of his older videos that I really like, but this is the newest video. And I really enjoyed it. So let's watch it together. Hell yeah.
Come on, I'm just kidding. But seriously.
Hey, I'm Derek, it's me, Derek, and welcome to Stop Skeletons from Fighting. Have you ever stopped to consider that Capcom, for all its success in video games, has had a pretty good run with movies? The dawn of the new millennium was a weird decade for Capcom, but the Mr.
Yes, he did say millennium. I had to go back and check a few times to see if he said millennium, but he totally did. But here, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Here's what
with movies. The dawn of the new millennium was a weird decade for Capcom.
Hold on.
Decade for millennium was dawn of the new millennium was.
He said millennium. Sorry, Uncle Derek. I just had to point that out.
Was a weird decade for Capcom, but the mystifying box office success of the live-action Mila Jovovich Resident Evil movies gave way to a string of computer-animated movies, starting with Resident Evil D-Generation. By 2008, there was a trilogy of live-action movies, and the first animated movie, all available on the PSP via UMD. Oh man, remember UMD? Rest in peace. But of course, to go with your PSP movie, you gotta have the classic Resident Evil D-Generation PSP game. It was the closest thing the original PSP ever got to a Resident Evil 4 port. And it's a shame that no one really ever talks about it anymore because psych! Pranked you YouTube style! That was a prank! Got you so pranked. That was a lie. They're actually, yeah, that game does not exist on PSP. Capcom did make a D-Generation game, but instead of putting it on somewhere,
for a second, I'm like, oh, there's a PSP
it was put onto the
version?
Nokia N-Gage 2.0. And actually, not just the N-Gage. In the years before it was all gachapon, free-to-play, and whatever the hell this is, Mobile games were a full-on
Spinners
Wild
versus
West,
Monsters.
and Capcom put
Oh,
out
God.
multiple versions of the D-Generation game. And while the Java and J2ME versions are fun, or at least interesting, look at what was on the Nokia phones and later iPhones. A full-on Resident Evil 4 2 in your pocket. Sort of. Unfortunately, this trapped the game in obscurity before it was quietly snuffed from existence. This is Delisted, where we spotlight digital games
This is
that
their
have
new
vanished
series, by the
from
way,
existence.
Delisted.
And on this episode, we mourn the loss of Resident Evil D-Generation.
So these guys do a bunch of different series. They do Punching Weight, which is a series about usually talking about like ports or like unnecessary or ridiculous like versions of games. This new one they do, Delisted, is about games that are no longer available, which I think is great because this will kind of hype up some of these games from possibly being preserved. Because I know there's people out there sitting on these and they don't realize they have it, and then they're like, oh shit, I had this game. I should back it up. And actually, this game is not lost. You can get it and then sideload it on an iPhone running iOS 6 or older, I think.
Resident Evil D-Generation had a limited theatrical release in October 2008 in both the US and Japan. It reportedly went on to gross at least $11.2 million from US home video sales alone.
Wow.
It must have been enough for Capcom to make their money back because they are still pumping out these CG Resident Evil movies, despite them feeling like little more than glorified cutscenes. For example, in D-Generation, the action is decent, but there's far more talking than shooting, which wouldn't be a problem, except that a lot of the facial animation is rough. They did my boy Leon dirty with this one. What is this? How can he be so stiff next to Claire? Paul Mercier returned to voice Leon, but they seriously toned him down from Resident Evil 4. Instead of some of the best video game dialogue of all time,
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Leon is instead delivering zingers like this.
Ask all you like, but honestly, there's nothing to discuss on that subject.
You sure you don't want to run that back? Oh, we're just gonna hold for applause now? Okay, fine. This is maybe nitpicky, but this isn't just some throwaway movie. The story of D-Generation is capital C canon, with the filmmakers even calling this Resident Evil 4.5. So then what's the plot? Well, it is your standard Leon lady meet cute evil man zoot suit Claire zombie big boot G-virus can't shoot giant monster down the chute Leon see you later dude. In other words, it bridges the gap between what happened after the fall of Umbrella but before the rise of Tricell in Resident Evil 5. It's just that you'd think the faces will be better animated. Also, I know Chris is a strong boulder man and whatnot, but this movie, plus Code Veronica, has confirmed to me that Claire holds dominion over the laws of space and time themselves. You know, just casually manipulating the laws of physics. But anyway, at one point, there was an airport. And that's actually the important part for us, since it is the main setting for the D-Generation games. So then, how did we get from this to this? In the 2000s, Capcom was experimenting with multimedia franchising, but also it was a very experimental decade for the whole gaming industry. Mobile phones were getting more and more advanced, which meant an emerging market for games, and Capcom was quick to jump on, pumping out Resident Evil games for cell phones as far back as 2001.
Get down.
Mostly they just stuck to short arcade-style spin-offs or turn-based adaptations, since the technology wasn't really there yet. But then the world dominator of cell phones, Nokia, stepped into the gaming octagon in October 2003 with the N-Gage, the two-in-one cell phone and gaming system
I still
that was
need
going to
one of
bring
these
hardcore gaming
for a video
to
I
cell
wanna
phones.
do.
We have already made a couple videos about this, but suffice it to say, it did not go well. By April 2008, Nokia changed their strategy from hardware to software, launching an N-Gage branded app store that would act as the video game pipeline for a majority of their phones. And basically everyone except for Nokia themselves refers to this app store as N-Gage 2.0. FYI, that's the Cool Kids Club name for it. You're all cool kids now. Despite Nokia's absolutely abysmal track record with games, they still got Capcom on board with 2.0, and the timing was perfect to cross-promote the D-Generation movie. And so, the reason this version of Resident Evil D-Generation exists is because of Nokia and the N-Gage 2.0. Well, also to show Capcom's dedication to N-Gage. This original game, of sorts, was developed by IdeaWorks Game Studio, who had some serious N-Gage bona fides, like the super impressive ports of Tony Hawk and Tomb Raider. They were also masters of non-N-Gage related gaming nonsense, thanks to their AirPlay SDK, which made it easier to port.
AirPlay, that's what Apple does. I actually own the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the kiosk demo version for N-Gage. I actually own that, but I don't have a system to play it on. So if I can find some way to emulate it or something, maybe I'll show you guys sometime. But yeah, I just happen to own the kiosk version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the N-Gage. Kind of a weird factoid, but it's a cool piece of my collection.
Games to the major mobile software platforms like Symbian, Brew, iOS, and of course N-Gage. Degeneration was released in December 2008, and I want to tell you that it was a smashing success. I mean, dude, look at this. This ain't Bejeweled. This is a brand new, fully 3D Resident Evil game. It reviewed well, and it was an impressive game for the time. But well, it only topped the N-Gage charts for 2 weeks before being dethroned by Tetris, which launched 8 months earlier, if that gives you a sense of how it was going. Sales were admittedly not great, despite Nokia's feeble attempt to market the game with a promotional zombie dating site. Yeah, it seems like these guys really knew what they were doing. Can't imagine why the N-Gage never caught on.
Yep.
This isn't a dream.
Oh, god damn it, an ad.
This is really happening.
Really?
So I do not have any hard numbers on how successful Degeneration or even N-Gage 2.0 as a whole was, but I have a feeling it looked really shabby compared to the competition. The Apple iOS App Store launched a few months after N-Gage 2.0 and immediately became a monolith, netting Apple $30 million in revenue in just the first month. I can tell you N-Gage was not pulling those kinds of numbers. Pretty soon, all major carriers were rushing to copy their success, and every kind of software was rushing to get on the App Store. So it didn't even matter if Degeneration was a hit on N-Gage. Capcom released the iOS.
So I actually own an early generation iPod, and I also own an iPhone 4. And I have the SDK for this game, or the or whatever the installer is. So I could attempt to sideload this onto my iPhone 4. I just don't know how well it's going to work. Because you still have to set up the iPhone 4 normally. I don't know if my iPhone 4 is even set up. I think I got it from a previous job where they were throwing stuff away, and it was going to get recycled. And so I asked if I could take it. They said, sure. So I have an iPhone 4. I just don't know. I don't know. Well, I sort of know where it is. But I don't know if I can get this game to work on it. If I can, I promise you, I will play it in some form. I will either stream it. I would love nothing more than to stream Degeneration. Though, of course, I'll want to play 4 first. But still, I might be able to play this if I can figure out my iPhone situation. Because I do have an adapter that lets me capture iPhone, like the older school iPhone connector to HDMI. So I technically could capture it. It'd be kind of like it'd be kind of like dumb, but I can do it, and I have done it before. So yeah, I doubt it. They probably forgot about this game. Like, unless there becomes a high demand for this game, which I don't think there will be. Mobile games like this, in this era specifically, tend to be forgotten about. But I might be able to do this. Just give me some time to figure it out.
Port just 5 months later in May 2009. So much for dedication to N-Gage. And I have it. Shout out to the legend Rockman KB for lending us their old iPhone 4S. But I got my hands on a real copy of the game, and now that I played it, let me tell you, just like the movie, Degeneration is basically Resident Evil 4.5, but in terms of gameplay. You play as Leon, and you got Hunnigan on the radio assisting you. Claire is there too, but she is not playable, which is a damn crime because she is the deadliest person there, no contest. It's got the over-the-shoulder perspective, quick-time events, a merchant, though a way lamer merchant, that sells weapons, upgrades, and expansions for your inventory. It even features a lot of the same weapons, Riot Gun, Punisher, TMP, plus it was Resident Evil going back to classic zombies well before that was a selling point of Resident Evil 6. Combat and movement are great. Well, as great as a touchscreen could be. Playing with actual buttons on the N-Gage version is much more my speed, but shooting zombies feels good, which is about all a decent Resident Evil game needs to do. Guns control, about how you remember from RE4, the rifle especially, is really impressive, and using these RE4 weapons on classic-style zombies instead of the Las Plagas is definitely a trip. There is a generous auto-aim which does help with your headshots, but it won't help you from getting swarmed from behind. Leon can shuffle with weapons drawn, though I tended to accidentally shuffle towards enemies more than anything else. The campaign is a pretty brief 2-hour affair, but Mercenaries mode unlocks when you beat it, and it lets you really appreciate how well IdeaWorks nailed the combat.
Still longer than Resident Evil Survivor.
But about that campaign, the plot is impressively bare bones. So little actually happens in this game. It's a genuine achievement. This game is pretty obscure. Most of you probably haven't played it. So let me give you a quick rundown, because I just had to tell you about this thing. A plane has crashed into Harvardville Airport. The iPhone version has clips of the crash from the movie, but neither the intro cinematic or text actually make it clear that zombies crawled from the wreckage and started this viral outbreak. We're off to a good start. Leon must rescue the survivors, specifically Senator Ron Davis, who are holed up in the VIP lounge. The game is 11 chapters long, but it takes 3 whole chapters to get the password that will unlock the VIP lounge door. I guess it was locked from both sides. Hey, it's Claire! Leon's mission is complete, but he cannot evacuate yet because a Special Forces soldier is gravely injured. After fetching him some medical supplies and fighting a tyrant-looking boss that's actually a bit of a pushover, you learn that there is another plane full of zombies, and because, quote, the autopilot has been engaged, the plane could take off at any moment. Because that's how planes work! Leon gains access to the plane through the baggage claim, or baggage reclaim, as the game puts it. While escaping the magical plane that was just about to go fly itself, Leon is attacked by another tyrant in the cargo hold. After dispatching the tyrant in another pretty easy fight, Leon learns that there are even more zombie-stuffed planes that will soon be taking off. The only thing that can be done is shut down the control tower. Sure, Leon heads down to the generator tunnel, pushes boop on a big computer, and successfully grounds all planes, I guess. But oh no, another tyrant! Leon is chased back to a warehouse where he lures the beast in front of a jet engine. It is sucked into the engine and killed.
It looks like Hypnos.
Leon declares, nice. He strikes a cool action guy pose, and the game concludes back at the VIP lounge where Leon, Claire, and the Senator plot their final escape from the airport in a cutscene with dialogue that is verbatim from a scene that happens at the 24-minute mark of the movie.
He's right.
I am not kidding. Look, here's the plot of the movie, and there's the game. Yeah! What this means is, this game is not really an adaptation as much as a 2-hour deleted scene from the movie's first act. The movie may be canon, but nothing of actual consequence happens in the game. In the movie, Leon finds the survivors and they basically just leave right away. In the game, you run errands all over the airport looking for keys and cards and repairing things. But thankfully, there is a decent amount of environmental variety and of course dozens of zombies to cut through, so it is some nice brainless fun.
Damn it. Another ad. They probably are, to be honest.
But then, what about the differences between these two versions? Well, not much in the way of
N-Gage
content,
looks like a
really just
PS1
graphics and
game.
controls. The video
iOS
clips from
looks
the
like
movie are missing in the N-Gage port, and the iOS port
PSP
looks sharper
game.
and runs better, but a lot of the texture detail is lost. For instance, this woman here. In the N-Gage version, her shirt is stained and dirty, you know, like she's been running and hiding from zombies, whereas it is spotless on the iOS version. Like Slay Queen, still looking fresh as hell during the zombie apocalypse. It's maybe a bit rougher around the edges, but a lot of the personality was scrubbed off in the upgrade to iOS, though I tend to prefer my polygons big and chunky. That and them controls. I had to resort to emulation for the N-Gage version, but if I had the choice, I'd play it over the iPhone version. Then there's the matter of the other versions of Resident Evil Degeneration in the form of a pair of J2ME games. One is an extremely basic first-person shooter where you simply aim left, right, or center to shoot at enemies. Pretty standard early-era cell phone fodder, nothing wrong with it really. The other degeneration is a bit more interesting though, as it is no less than an homage to the classic fixed camera perspectives of Resident Evil's past. This version is referred to as the 3D version, even though, whatever. Here, Leon undertakes short objective-based missions, clearing out enemies, collecting herbs and ammo, saving civilians, and so forth. All in an oddly familiar airport setting. It's a pretty inoffensive, neat little game, until you come to the realization many of the areas are copied and pasted from a previous Resident Evil mobile game, Resident Evil The Missions. And those areas were copied from no less than Resident Evil 2 and 3, which means that playing this 3D Java version of Degeneration has you trotting through screens laid out identically to locations from Resident Evil 2, but swapped with background images made to look like the Degeneration airport. Lazy even for its time. Surely it was the Resident Evil 2 remake we all wanted in 2008.
Yeah, I probably won't worry about that.
Again, both these games are neat and deserve a shout out, but they are not nearly as meaningful to the greater Resident Evil series as the N-Gage and iOS game. Like most digital-only games that have been delisted, the only legal way to play is to have a device that still has it installed. Unfortunately, N-Gage is probably the more difficult of the two to find legitimately, as Nokia closed the N-Gage 2.0 store in September 2010, meaning that Nokia users had less than 2 years to buy this version. The iOS version went away some years later, but there's probably a higher chance of finding an old iPhone with it still installed than an old Nokia phone. Same goes for the two J2ME games. But I played the N-Gage on emulation, so the option to play RE4.5 mobile is still out there. Of course, there is the gigantic elephant in the room that we have been ignoring this entire video. What about the actual mobile port of Resident Evil 4? Yeah, Degeneration borrows heavily from RE4, but hey, RE4 also got its own mobile game, and it actually came out before
He pulled that iPad out of his pants,
so
too.
Stick around. I have the iPad, iPod, iPhone, and Zeebo ports of Resident Evil 4 mobile. We'll be taking a deep dive in the next episode of Delisted.
I forgot he got the Zeebo.
If not thorough.
Leave the N-Gage.
Thank you so much for watching. This show is brought to you by and was voted on by our Patreon supporters. They voted for...
Brad, I almost bought one. EB Games was selling them for like $20 at one point. I almost bought one, but I was like, I don't need a cell phone at the time. What's a Zeebo? Okay, Zeebo, which is spelled Zeebo, like that. It's a console that I think was released in Brazil. I actually have an N-Gage. Oh yeah, no, I would. What's his name? Armake was gonna send me one because I wanted to do a video on Tony Hawk. I still want to do it, and that's around when I got the copy of it. I'm like, oh, maybe I don't know if there's an emulator or what. And Armake's like, I've got like 6 of them, and he was gonna send me one, but we never got around to it. I also haven't talked to Armake in a long time. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Armake21, he's an old YouTube reviewer. He started around the same time as the AVGN. So he's like one of the first YouTube reviewers. He still makes videos today, but I don't really watch his channel anymore. You had an R-Zone? I'm assuming you don't have it anymore, Brad, eh? Yeah, Armake is one of the OGs. I never watched him back in the day, but my friends Blondie, SCR, One Roll, they all talked about him, and getting to meet him, he was a really cool dude. I ended up watching some of his old videos. They're very early 2000s, like 2005, 2006 era game reviews, and by that I mean like the main difference between James Rolfe, who was doing his Angry Video Game Nerd, and Armake, because they're both doing the same style of reviews, angry reviews, is James had the film, like the filming side of things, like he knew how to make things cinematic, whereas Armake was more, people felt he was more real, and that was the big thing. Armake like inspired people like Wizwar, Spoonie, a whole bunch of different game reviewers. Blondie I'm pretty sure got inspired by him. It was like half a virtual boy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's a really nice dude. my grandparents got for Christmas. Oh my god, man, if only. But yeah, no, Armic's a really cool dude. I'd like to reach out and talk to him again. He probably doesn't even remember me though, so I have no idea. But really cool guy. And he offered to send me an N-Gage at one point. He's like, I got 6. You want one? I'm like, yes. And he just never sent one to me. So, Armic, if the offer's still on the table, DM me. I'll even buy one from you. I'll even buy it off you if you need some cash. I'm willing to buy it. So yeah. Buying one off eBay is going to be impossible, but like if I can get my hands on one, that'd be sweet. Anyways,
Tony Hawk, as well as Resident Evil Degeneration.
He did a Tony Hawk
very
video
close, so we
recently,
did them both. If you want to vote for new episodes or just want to have your name here, get videos early, chat along with us on our podcast. We have a podcast, by the way. Man,
I love that.
$1 gets you into the Bone Dungeon, into the
I love
Stop
these
Skeletons
videos. They're great.
Skella family. All these people here have made this show possible for over 6 years, and you can join their ranks. But hey,
I
you know
have.
what?
Oh, really?
can't
You
make
have a
that.
Turbo
You can't
Graphics?
swing that. Just tell a friend. Watch with a friend. When someone asks,
I have a PC
"Man,
Engine.
friend.
If
What's
you
a
can get
great
your
YouTube
Turbo
channel? What's
Graphics,
the
okay, Brad. If you can get your Turbo Graphics, you need to bring that over. Because I have a way to capture it high res. We could play some Turbo Graphics games. Hell, I want a Turbo Graphics 16 really bad, but I know you probably want to keep it for yourself. But I'd be willing to buy it from you if you didn't want it. But I have a PC Engine, which is the Japanese version, so I technically have one. Keith Courage all the way. Oh, you have Keith Courage? Sweet. I have a bunch of Japanese PC Engine games we could play too. I bought a bunch of them on eBay when they were super cheap. There's some Japanese sellers who were selling packs of like 10 games for like $5 or something like that. So I have like I have 2 deck boxes full of fucking PC Engine games. I want to get the PC Engine EverDrive because you can use it to play TurboGrafx games as well on your PC Engine. There's also an adapter for the PC Engine and the TurboGrafx that lets you do HDMI out. It basically gives you access to be able to play Turbo CD, Super CD, and Super Graphics games without needing to own those systems. Alien Crush is awesome. But yeah, no, it's I want to get a TurboGrafx one of these days, but I'm satisfied with the PC Engine. A lot of the games I want came out in both regions, so like I have I'm pretty sure I have Fighting Street on PC Engine, which is Street Fighter 1. But yeah.
The dumbest YouTube channel. What is the dumbest, funnest YouTube channel? Tell them about Uncle Derek. Tell them about Producer Grace.
Well,
there.
I just told everybody about Uncle Derek.
Fighting. And tell them we'll see him again real soon.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but someone's name's right here. I'm a backer of Stop Skeletons from Fighting. My pointer isn't showing up for you guys, but if you look in the corner there, I've been supporting them since they did Patreon. Because I've been watching Derek for a long time, and they get screwed by the algorithm. Like, they should be a lot bigger of a channel than they are. Like,
take care.
I'm just gonna mute this in case it does another ad. Yeah, I knew it. Okay. I'm gonna like that. Yeah, they only have 301,000 subscribers. They should have a lot more. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, this video, I watched this video already, but I wanted to show you guys. So I'm gonna do a poll in chat, guys. On what we're gonna do. So here we go. So I'm going to do a poll, and I think I have to go to my Twitch. I think I have to go to my Twitch. Okay, I think I have to go to my Twitch dashboard for this to do a poll. Give me a second here. I don't know why it's showing Ottawa tourism. Who cares? No, I'm gonna go to the channel. But let me just go ahead and go to my... Holy crap, Cake has 99 viewers? Damn. Well, she's playing Apex, and people like Apex. It's not really my thing. Anyways, guys, I'm going to my dashboard right now. And I'm going to set up a poll. Let's see. Let's create poll. Where's the poll? Okay, manage poll. Here we go. Okay. Derek. Game reviews. Something else. Okay. We're going to do this poll for 1 minute. And here we go. So, guys, the poll has started. And if you want to vote for what you want to watch, the options are more Uncle Derek, more game reviews, or something else. Get your votes in. The poll is right above chat. Oh. We got some votes in. Half a minute left to vote. Oh, shit. We got a three-way tie. Oh, something else is now winning. All right. Something else is winning again. Oh, more game reviews is winning, is coming back up. Time's almost up. Better vote, guys. And something else wins. Okay. So, all right. So, we can't watch porn, but I will take suggestions, guys, on what you want to watch. There are options, of course. We can do memes. We can do compilations of other VTubers. We can do. You can watch one of my videos, which I know you guys like to torture me with those. Cake farts? No, we're not watching cake farts. We'll watch Cake Chan, but we won't watch cake farts. Yeah, exactly. Snow Fox gets it. Drop me some suggestions, guys. Like actual suggestions, not stupid ones like Ancient Stone Tablets. I'm not gonna watch the game. I want to play that. Devil Artemis? Who's that? I've never even heard of that. I miss James. I miss James too. I swore okay, Brad, I swore I saw him early on when I started living here, but I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure it was him. Like, I saw him, I'm like, is that fucking James? But I didn't, like, he was driving away and something, I didn't want to stop him. So, because I think he's still doing handyman work, so he probably had to fix something in my building. But I do also miss James. Who is, he's the guy who does those videos featuring Perfect Sal and Kermit the Frog. Oh, okay. Someone that I find funny? Okay. Well, if nobody else gives me any suggestions, that's what we're going to do. And then I'll set up another poll after we watch the videos. Watch ghost videos. No, I'm not gonna watch ghost videos. I'm not one of those people. I'm not like Critical. He's just like, all right, everybody, let's go ahead and watch some ghost hunting videos. Let's see how crazy this ghost hunting gets. Cause it's all conspiracy stuff. I don't want to watch conspiracies. But let's look for this guy. Oh, I've seen this dude. In the Devil Artemis universe, episode 2. Oh god. God. How you gonna call? Do you mean who you gonna call? Ghostbusters? Okay. Perfect. What is this? Casey killing the robot? Oh god, I do have that on my computer. Poor Casey.
All right, here we are, Cell. Who the hell is this?
Oh, I've seen these before, but not this one.
You agreed to fight the mighty Plank? Yeah, no. What do you mean, no? Yeah, no, I'm not fighting that. Cell, you already signed the contract. Fuck the contract. It's a piece of wood. Ooh, yeah. Plank doesn't like that word, Cell. Wood? You're offended by the word wood? What the? This is ridiculous. What is going on? What's wrong with you? You said it 3 times, Cell. He's obviously powering up. You can't be serious. Oh, you hear that? That's theme music, Cell. I think you done pissed him off, Cell. Yes! Thank you, Kermit. That's final boss music, Cell. I think I can handle a stupid piece of... Please don't. Wood. Prepare yourself, Plank. This Kamehameha is strong enough to destroy an entire filler arc of Naruto. Any last
shit.
words? What the hell does that mean? What's he saying? What? I said he's yelling Dragon Fist!
Oh god. Shit. Dramatic finish. Oh my god, that was awesome. Oh guys, I know what we have to watch. If we're gonna watch meme videos, we have to watch Big Chungus versus Thanos, and we have to watch that series. Oh my god. My buddy Corey. Shaggy's the other one, but Thanos is the one we're gonna watch first. We have to watch this. Well, that fucking like spoils it. Hello, there's the name of the channel. Here we go. For fuck's sake, so you really fucking ads. Keith Apicary video and you have to watch it. What are you DMing it to me? I don't have to do shit, Brad. I can do what I want. Okay, guys. This is fucking amazing. My buddy Corey showed me this and I lost my shit the first time I saw it. What is it, Paris?
Watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Chungus.
Oh.
Chungus.
Yeah, they do. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god, I crack up every time.
Chunga.
I'm gonna turn this down.
Chunga. Chunga bigger, chunga bigger, chunga.
The funny part is that's just the start. It gets even fucking better. Big Chungus. Fuck. Alright. Okay, we won't watch the... Oh, okay. Phase 1, Episode 2. Okay, here we go. Versus Shaggy. Turn it down a little bit. There's an ad to block ads. That's funny. Oh no, I'm so scared, Brad. I might watch it. I'll think about it. You are subbed, after all. I love it. Execute Order 66 is the old name of the channel, which I think is funny. I love this. Oh shit. He went Ultra Instinct. Fuck. I don't think Big Chungus is gonna survive this. He's lost one of the stones. Oh shit. No, Big Chungus. No, Big Chungus. The Chungus Among Us. Oh man. God. Obama. Oh, because the Yoda Obama. No, Big Chungus. Alright, Phase 3, Episode 3. Let's do this, guys.
So, like, the champion...
God damn it.
It's me. Literally me.
Really?
It's great.
This game too? Come on. Okay. Brad, I'll do it in just a second. We gotta watch this episode first. The shit's epic as fuck. I hate how the audio is different on every episode. Some it's too loud, some it's too quiet. You must have got better at audio balancing over time. Oh shit, is that a Nintendo Wii? Oh fuck.
Hey.
I didn't understand this one, but apparently this me is a meme. Oh shit. Kicked him all the way to fucking Mars. He punched himself down to boost up. That's funny. Oh no, he punched the entire Earth down. Of how ridiculous this all is. Alright, The Return. We'll watch in a second, but first I have to... No! Thanks for the Dean. Alright. Episode 4, guys. Shaggy, The Return. God damn it. Oh. Big Chungus. Fuck. Shaggy just going after all of them.
Oh, hello there!
Shit.
Bye-bye. See you later.
I finally rest.
One day before Shaggy.
And watch the sunrise on a grateful universe.
Chunga.
Shaggy's fucked now. Chungus is back, bitch. Ah! Okay. Rise of Big Chungus. Alright.
300 for that in 2000
God damn
for this,
it.
way too expensive. But today I'm going to show
Definitely
you guys how to
a
get
scam.
all this stuff for a lot cheaper.
Definitely a scam. Good memes never die. This is the Big Chungus versus Shaggy series. That's what you stumbled onto, Karama. We left off, Chungus was just brought back in time to fight Shaggy. Oh shit. Shit. Shaggy can't do my boy Chungus dirty. Chungus is ready for him this time. Oh no! The Uno reverse card! The one that was used to beat Thanos has been destroyed. Shit. But Chungus is still up. Our boy Chungus. Oh shit! He had a... Oh fuck. Bro. He got the whole Uno deck. Oh fuck, Shrek's back. Out of my swamp. Oh shit. Obama. Naruto versus Sasuke. Thanos. Mii Fighter dude. They all came back to help Chungus. Big versions. Oh, fuck. He's putting in the AirPods. Oh, they're doing the Naruto run, though. You probably had to replace the music as a copyright. Yeah, because they're not hearing sound effects and shit. Shit. Jackie can't beat all of them. All of them. Green or black ones. No. Dude, got my whole life without seeing endless commercials. Well, there you go. More of it, Brad. No. Oh shit. Oh fuck. This is pretty well done for a meme video. Shit. My boys. The first time I saw this, I was like, this is so fucking dumb. I love it. I love fucking dumb stuff like this. My buddy Corey originally showed me Big Chungus versus Thanos, and I was like, oh, really? That sounds dumb. And then I watched it, and I'm like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, the amount of work in Source Filmmaker to do this shit is crazy. Like, and it's color corrected and it's cinematic, like, it has proper sound effects, music, like, it's crazy. Yeah, most of them are pretty short, though. This one's 10 minutes, so. Shit. He is the Uno reverse card. Oh, fuck. realize his true power, the power of the reverse. Now he has his Ultra Instinct. Shaggy might not survive this one. Yeah, he didn't. That's the end of Shag. Thanos is a being. And thus Chungus fades away until he is needed again in the future. The world may never know how close it came to its end without Big Chungus. And the endgame stop credits, of course. Matt, that was his name. With Obama as Yoda. And Shrek. Wow, an epic. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the phase 1 of Big Chungus. I'm glad I could share this all with you guys, because now you all understand the rise of Big Chungus. I hope you all feel special to have known that. But yeah. Guys, we're going to watch some more videos, but I'm just going to go to the bathroom real quick. So I will be right back. I'm going to play an ad for some of y'all. And go to my BRB screen. So I will be right back. I'll see you soon. Yes, I'll get to it, Brad. Calm down. Don't forget, this is my stream, not yours. And wait, where did you send it to me? I don't see a DM on Discord. Where did you send it? If you sent it to me a DM on Twitch, I can't see those right now. Where did you send it? Now also, it's DMCA free. I'm not going to get in trouble for copyright, right? I don't know. This is another video series this dude has made. But guys, I will be right back. I need to use the bathroom really bad. So, one sec.
Yeah.
I'm here. Sorry about that, guys. Looks like there was one hotspot that followed while I was gone. Sorry about that. I've been back for a while, but I keep getting in coughing fits. I think I might end stream early tonight. Not yet. Maybe in the next half an hour to an hour, because it's because I don't want to be coughing the whole time. I've had a cough the last couple days, and just today I started having some other issues. I felt fine until I drove home to work. That's when I started feeling it. I got into my house or my apartment, and I just felt exhausted, like immediately exhausted. I didn't even do any of that hard of work today, but I just felt exhausted. I was like, damn. And I took a small nap in my bed. And I think I know I was exhausted. I think my body was trying to fight off whatever this is, some stomach bug or something. Which sucks because I don't know. I'm supposed to be doing on-sites in the next couple months, but I might not be able to do it if I have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I'm hoping this is just something small and it will go away. I don't have any of the other COVID symptoms, so oh, Brad, I can't show that. That's TOS. I know what video that is because I've seen it before. I can't show that. I'm sorry. That video's TOS. I like it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to watch it, but I can't show it. We're gonna have to watch something else. Okay. Well, I'm setting shit back up. Why don't I do another poll? You stay 2 weeks. Huh? Yeah, but I can't afford to do that right now because I just started this job. And I'm supposed to be auditing. But I'm sure like my boss would understand if like I get sick and I have to stay home. The only problem is I'm supposed to have somebody come visit me in the next couple of weeks, and I'm supposed to go. Thanksgiving is next weekend, not the weekend coming up, but the one after. And I'm supposed to be spending time with family that day, but not if I have to stay home. Okay, well, let's do another. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Here's the new poll. Get to voting. Vote while you can. Yeah, one for game reviews. Oh, somebody voted for one of my videos. Shit. Yeah, we got game reviews. Game reviews 1. All right. All right, guys. Let's see. Who are we going to watch? Let's see. Do we want to watch... okay. You know what? Let's do another poll. Or you know what? No. Do we want to watch a popular game review show? Do we want to watch more Uncle Derek? Do we want to watch something Halloween related? Do we want to watch one of my friends? You know, their reviews, like Blondie's reviews, for example. What do you guys want? What are you guys feeling? Do my reviews count? I mean, it didn't win the poll, but we could watch one of my reviews. What are you guys feeling? Okay. Maybe I should do another poll. I'll do one more poll. All right. New poll, guys. New poll. It's one vote so far. It's halfway done. Oh, 2 votes. This poll's about to end. 3 for me. Shit. I guess you guys just want me to pick for you. You know what? I want to show you guys one of Derek's old videos. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I want to show you guys Enemy Zero. Yeah. Ah, okay. You know what? If we watch that, we have to watch D first. So let's watch D, and then we'll watch it. Anyways, let me switch back over. Okay, so Happy Video Game Nerd, D. Oh, of course there's an ad. Hey, this is not fucking Thanos versus Big Chungus. Oh my god, this old logo. I haven't gone to RetroWare in years. I used to frequent that site every day. It was one of my saved tabs for years. This is content, old content that I used to watch. Same dude from before, but this is a slightly newer video, or slightly older video. Gotta love that poor anti-aliasing from old capture cards. Like, I hate to sound like old man yelling at clouds, but you guys have no idea how easy you have it today. With capture cards that are HDMI, most consoles are HDMI. Back in the day, if you wanted to get a capture card, you were lucky to get something better than composite. I still have my original HD PVR from Hopog. It doesn't even have an HDMI port on it. It has component on it. That was the best quality you could get. Component technically is on the same level as HDMI, but it's an analog signal. So it caps out at 1080i, but you can upscale it to 1080p. But yeah, you get like these streamers these days don't know how lucky they have it. Like setting up like old school consoles and shit. One of the scary experiences to pick them up. Oh, really? What was the experience? But yeah, I used to record things with a composite capture card. I still use composite signals, but I upscale it now with an upscaler to HDMI. Back in the day, for content creation, the best you could get was a composite capture card. Oh, Starship Amazing, Derek's old band. I love Starship Amazing. By the way, let me just preface, this video made me want to play this game. It's actually now on PC. On Steam. It's actually now on Steam. PC version is. I don't know why Enemy Zero isn't. Because there is a PC version. I wish it was.
You may have never realized it, but the word unique starts with a capital D. Warp's D may be the most unique horror experience on a console. Not so much a game as it is an interactive movie, D is still one of the scariest experiences in gaming. Released in 1995,
the game was okay,
enough, the
the
same
ending
year as
sucked.
Pixar's feature debut Toy Story, D was the first 100% CGI game. It was
If you
like
get this on
Myst,
Steam, get it
if
for
instead of clicking
cheap.
to the next step, your character physically moved, and instead of a deserted island, a haunted castle. By its very concept, D has little inherent replay value, and just may be too unconventional for some tastes. But for those who can get into it and love a good scare, lock the door, turn out the lights, and crank up the sound. D is a gaming experience you may never forget.
D was released on the PlayStation, the short-lived Sega Saturn, and the even shorter-lived 3DO.
I need to get.
I'm playing it on the Saturn, but all versions are virtually identical. I mean, I'm sure 13 years ago, some would be able to argue about which version looked best, but it's a moot point
Captain
now.
S with Brunto
they all
floss?
look bad by
Fuck
today's
yeah.
standards. What you have to realize is what a bold move this game was. I mean, CGI in video games was a pretty new thing back in '95. D was released at the tail end of the full-motion video craze of the mid-'90s.
No! Don't go!
And games are just starting to have little CGI bits.
So, Snowfox, there's actually a lot of different video connections in between those. So, one of the most common video connections from the most common video connection from the 70s was RF, which, if you don't know what that is, you had to screw the cable into the back of the coaxial port on your TV. And probably the one that most people recognize as an old connection, composite, which is red, yellow, white. So that composite is a compressed analog video signal, but it doesn't have the noise that coaxial has, or RF. And so the difference here is that video is usually split into three colors: RGB, red, green, blue. But in composite, they're all in the yellow cable. So it's all compressed. So a lot of older games, if you try to plug them in composite on a newer TV, if the TV accepts composite, it's going to look not so good. The next thing up from that is S-Video, which is a single black port, but it only does video. It also needs audio from the other 2 ports. S-Video is cleaner than composite, but it's as clean as you can get before upscaling to a better thing. Like I have, for example, I have consoles that do S-Video, and I upscale them past S-Video to HDMI with my upscaler. You almost need S-Video at least to upscale. And then there's component, which is red, green, blue video cables along with the red and white audio cables. Those go up to 1080i. That's the highest quality analog signal you can get. And then, of course, there's VGA and DVI, which were mostly PC stuff. But DVI is actually the exact same signal as HDMI, but it doesn't carry audio. And so HDMI is really just a reimagining of DVI. Anyways, that was my video connection tutorial. Let's get back to the video.
But a whole game of it was unheard of at the time. But straying far from the mainstream was the typical MO of Warp games, but we'll get to that later.
Richter Harris is the respected and beloved director of a rural Los Angeles hospital. That is until one day he suddenly snaps and goes on a murderous rampage, killing many of the hospital staff and its patients. Police summon Laura, his daughter, to go and talk to the doctor who has barricaded himself inside the hospital, holding the surviving patients as hostages. What could have possibly drove this man to such barbaric actions? Will Laura be able to penetrate the riddle of her transfigured father? I took that last part from the instruction book.
As a game, D is as basic as it gets. You move Laura around by pushing the direction you want her to go. She'll move in that direction and then stop at an invisible intersection. From there, you can manipulate what's in front of you or move on. Using the shoulder buttons shifts through your inventory, and that's about it. I told you it was unconventional.
Yeah.
D is more of an interactive movie than it is a game. There's some pretty tough puzzles, but other than that, you just sit back and enjoy the thick, creepy atmosphere and wonder what kind of weird shit's around the corner. But just because there's little interaction doesn't mean this game is boring. Well, maybe for some. Now, a common horror movie convention is watching our heroes go into places they probably should not go, like outside to investigate a noise or into a stranger's house. When you yell at the screen,
"What are you doing? No, don't go in there!"
That's a scary movie doing its job. What makes horror games so scary is forcing the player to go into those very places they would rather not go. I recall saying out loud while I was playing Silent Hill for the first time, "I'm not going in the hospital morgue, are you crazy?" Or, "Oh great, a secret staircase in the basement. Can't wait to go in there." But D is scary because of its unrelenting creepy atmosphere. Unlike Resident Evil and Silent Hill, there are no safe rooms. There is no downtime between areas. You are constantly in a place you don't want to be.
It's a short game, but you've got to
Not only that, you have no choice but to venture deeper and deeper into it. And Warp makes sure that you get the most out of your time there. If you can really get into this game, you will constantly be on edge. You really don't know what to expect next. It is established very early on that D takes place outside of the confines of reality. So anything can happen, and it doesn't really need to make sense. Before long, you'll realize that every part of every room that you can explore has some creepy guy waiting to creep you out.
Yeah.
Might be the subtlety of the music, or just something about the room that you're in. The journey to the end of D may be short, but it offers virtually no downtime. With the exception of maybe one puzzle. And since you don't really have complete control of Laura, you never really get a good chance to explore and become comfortable with your surroundings. This can heighten the mood, as sometimes you'll be standing at the threshold of a new room that you might not want to just run into. In Resident Evil and Silent Hill, you can ease your way into a suspicious room. Take your time and explore, make sure things are safe before pushing onward, but not in D. You're either in or you're out. Pick one. Now. And I mean now, because the clock is ticking. There are only a few ways you can die in this game, and one is if you take too long to complete your journey. You take longer than 2 hours to finish D, and it's game over. But that's the limit. I personally have never taken longer than an hour and a half to finish this game. But that means there are no save points, and, I really like this, No pausing either. But you can't deny the fact that this is a very short game with very little replay value. But again, it's more like a movie than a game anyway. And just like a good scary movie you've seen before, it's worth playing D once every couple years. I've long since played through the Resident Evil and Silent Hill games, but every once in a while, I just gotta play through them again. And D is no different. It's a very short but very memorable experience. It's never as scary as it was the first time, but that doesn't make it not enjoyable. The concept, story, and execution of it all make it an experience worth revisiting at least twice. But please, don't go watch videos of D online. You're only cheating yourself. This is a game you have to experience at home with the lights off and the sound up. Hell, that's the only way to play games like Fatal Frame and Silent Hill. And you'd never guess, this game also has an interesting history, so let's hit it.
God damn it. God damn it. You did me dirty, Derek. Fucking Christ. Wow. God damn it, Derek.
D was made by Warp Games, a company headed by Kenji Eno. Warp made a whole range of strange and unusual titles, not just horror games. But most of these never made it outside of Japan. The history of Warp is definitely an interesting one, but is for another time. This is a review of D, so I'll stick to D and its respective sequels. Apparently, D was heavily censored in the US, which is quite amazing considering what they left in. This is probably the most graphic teen-rated game of all time. While it was a big hit in Japan, it wasn't very successful in the US. There exists an extremely rare Japanese version of D called D's Diner for the 3DO. It's sort of a super ultra mega double dip director's cut. According to an interview, this version was sold and hand-delivered to buyers by Kenji Eno himself. Interestingly, the English translation of the Japanese name D no Shokutaku was incorrectly translated as D's Diner by the now defunct Game Fan magazine. While D's Diner does have a good ring to it, Shokutaku actually means dinner table, which makes a lot more sense since the setting of this game is not a diner.
Yeah.
D was eventually followed up by D2 for the Dreamcast, but before we get to that, there were actually a couple games that came between D and D2. Enter 1997's Enemy Zero for the Sega Saturn.
This is like the
Enemy
Holy Grail
Zero
of my
was sort
Saturn
of a
collecting.
spiritual sequel to D.
I want this
It was
game
a horror
so
title,
bad.
played in first person and
I've
starred
come
Laura.
across it multiple times.
Not the same Laura
but
per se. Laura was a
missing
digital
the
actress,
discs.
as it were. Enemy Zero is famous for its free-roaming first-person segments, where you had to tread through sprawling, dimly lit corridors, trying to avoid monsters you couldn't see.
Yeah,
These
it's
weren't
fucking
monsters
hard.
that would hurt you. Nope, we're talking instant death. Since you couldn't see them, you had to depend on a chime that got faster and faster the closer and closer they got until... Yep, you died. And it leads to some pretty tense shit, let me tell you. Next came D2, but not that D2. D2 was originally going to be the flagship title for the M2. What the hell is the M2? The M2 was going to be the successor to Panasonic's 3DO. And I say was going to be because the M2 was scrapped and never released. Had the M2 been released, we would have seen a D2 that starred Laura's son and was more free-roaming. But as the M2 was scrapped, so was this version of D2.
I still want to see
the
that
D2
version
we
of
all know is this one. Now, despite its title, D2 has almost nothing to do with D and has absolutely nothing to do with the scrapped M2 version. D2 had Warp's trademark creepy-ass story and tall supply of weird-ass shit, and once again starred Laura, but was more like a typical survival horror game. In fact, Kenji Eno pretty much quit games after this because he felt he was becoming too conventional. And I will say that is definitely one of the game's faults. Enemy Zero and D2 are both pretty unique and awesome games, and I suppose one of these days I'll have to tell you more about them.
Alright, Paisanos, that's it for now. So, until next time, this is the Happy Nerd saying, stop emailing me about the Splatterhouse remake. Cheers. Because I already know about it!
He did, one of his biggest videos was the Splatterhouse series. Let's see if, here we go, Enemy Zero's on the side. Okay. Oh, back when he lived in Alaska. That's crazy. Alright, guys, let's watch Enemy Zero as well. You gotta see what happened now. You just got it. I want this game so bad. This is the holy grail of my Saturn collection. I want this game so bad.
Kenji Eno, the head of Warp Games, was at a Sony press conference, showcasing his new project, Enemy Zero, which was the follow-up and pseudo-sequel to his hit game, D. After a short preview of the game, the video finished proudly showcasing the Sony PlayStation logo. Then, in a move that perfectly exemplifies Kenji Eno's rebellious nature, the Sony PlayStation logo slowly morphed into the Sega Saturn logo. Yeah, the term burning bridges was coined for situations like this.
Fucking
Mr.
badass.
Eno was apparently not pleased with the way Sony handled its port of D, producing only 28,000 copies when sales orders called for over 100,000. His response was essentially to tell Sony to go fuck themselves and to make his follow-up
Project Live Dream. Devi, Radia, hello guys. You just got to the part where we were talking about how Kenji Eno gave Sony the middle fucking finger at an early E3 press conference. Like, if I ever find footage of this, it'll be amazing. Can we please get a shout out for Project Live Dream, a shout out for Debbie, and a shout out for Radia Knight in the chat, please? Thank you, Grandma. So just I gotta go back and show you guys this real quick. Like, this is fucking badass. Okay, I gotta show you guys this. Just watch this. In silence, eh?
Kenji Eno, the head of Warp Games, was at a Sony press conference, showcasing his new project, Enemy Zero, which was the follow-up and pseudo-sequel to his hit game, D. After a short preview of the game, the video finished proudly showcasing the Sony PlayStation logo. Then, in a move that perfectly exemplifies Kenji Eno's rebellious nature, the Sony PlayStation logo slowly morphed into the Sega Saturn logo. Yeah, the term burning bridges was coined for situations like this. Mr. Eno was apparently not pleased with the way Sony handled its port of D, producing only 28,000 copies when sales orders called for over 100,000. His response was essentially to tell Sony to go fuck themselves and to make his follow-up title, Enemy Zero, a Sega Saturn exclusive. Say what you want about his games, but Mr. Eno had balls.
The history of Warp Games and Kenji Eno is a storied one, but again, it's one I do not have time for in this review.
That's how you, like, you don't fuck with Kenji Eno. If he wants, if people are demanding more copies of his game and your company says, oh, we're not going to produce anymore because we don't think they sell, you go elsewhere. Kenji Eno didn't need Sony. Yeah, his games were not super, like, mega, like, hits or anything like that. But, like, he didn't care that his games were popular. He cared that his games were enjoyed by people. And when a company like Sony is purposely not putting out more copies of this game, that's why the PS1 version of D is also pretty rare, because it's hard to get a hold of. It is certainly easier to get a copy of D for PlayStation than it is for Sega Saturn, but it could have been a lot less rare had Sony just, you know, offered more. Though, of course, this is all moot now because D is available on Steam, which I have played the Steam version, and I will say, I'm not going to spoil it, but D's not that great. What I would say is if you want to check it out, play it for yourself, see what you think. It's only a 2-hour game, so, or less. So technically you can refund it on Steam if you want, but it's only like $5 or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely an old school horror game. But Enemy Zero, this is the shit, and this, you guys will soon see why this is my most wanted Saturn game.
It's enough work reviewing the games, much less talking about the mad genius who made them. Kenji Eno, early in his gaming career, worked with many licensed characters and on many licensed games, and he has stated he hated doing that. He's a man who liked to do his own thing, and you can tell in D, Enemy Zero, and D2 that these are games that he wants to make. So right off the bat, you should know that these games are not for everyone. But you know what, I'm already wasting time. Let's get to it. This is Enemy Zero.
If I find this game, I'm streaming it.
The spacecraft Aki and 100% her crew are returning back to Earth, having successfully completed their mission. Suddenly, the ship's emergency system is activated when some kind of alien creature breaks loose from the bowels of the ship, and the ship's crew are jolted out of cryogenic sleep. Our heroine Laura Lewis, that's Laura Lewis, not Laura Harris, receives a video call from fellow crew member Parker, just in time to watch in horror as an alien creature savagely attacks and kills him. Shortly thereafter, it is revealed there is an untold number of these aliens prowling the ship.
Fuck.
How did these creatures get aboard the ship, and what exactly are they? Will Laura be able to save the rest of her crewmates? Will she be able to save herself?
God damn it. God fucking damn it. I really need to install AdBlock on this browser.
It's fair to call Enemy Zero D1.5, because half the game plays exactly like D. Indoor sequences are restricted to an invisible rail, where Laura moves on a predetermined path until she stops at an invisible intersection.
Most of the story and the dialogue sequences happen in these parts. They're rather subdued, but work well in creating a powerful sense of anxiety and isolation. Personally, I really like the slow pace and the mood it sets.
The other half of the game is also played in the first person, but gives you complete control. You'll spend the majority of your time running through dimly lit, winding corridors battling the extremely deadly alien creatures. Unfortunately, these action sequences are both the best and worst part of Enemy Zero. As I'm sure you know, the creatures that plague the ship are invisible, so you must depend on a piano chime to locate them. It's important you tread carefully because they don't hurt you, they kill you instantly. Luckily, this is kill or be killed, since they go down with only one hit too. But the guns you have at your disposal shoot extremely short range, meaning you must be literally inches away from these creatures to take them down, so don't miss. Oh, and by the way, your gun takes a few moments to charge, and if you charge for too long, it'll burn out. So not only do you need to get extremely close to the invisible enemies that kill you instantly, you have to time your shots just right. Fail, and it's game over.
Fuck, he got lucky there.
The tension is incredible. It could be canned and sold wholesale. Right down to the very end of the game, I was never not on the edge of my fucking seat, and I was never not completely satisfied and relieved when I successfully killed one of these things. Turn off the lights, crank up the sound, and get ready to have the absolute shit scared out of you.
The sad part is I'm not going to be able to turn the lights off.
Be ready to yell,
my VTuber
"Oh, fuck you and your stupid worthless gun, Kenji Eno."
For as amazing and heart-pounding as the combat is, it also makes Enemy Zero an extremely difficult game. Imagine Fatal Frame, which you can only shoot right before a ghost strikes you, and if you miss, it's game over. Now, do it blind, working with audio cues only. It's freaking hard.
The timing is something I got used to, but the correct distance was always difficult to gauge. My frustration reached its peak near the end of the game when you had a long sequence of labyrinths, and you had to kill about 5 or 6 creatures without a break. It was both one of the most frightening sequences in video game history, and one of the most frustrating. So for as much as I did enjoy these action sequences, they didn't need to be this hard. But what's the big deal? You've got unlimited ammo and continues, right? Not exactly.
If all this wasn't bad enough, each of your guns quickly runs out of juice and needs to be constantly recharged. So if you miss too many times, you might suddenly find yourself defenseless. Furthermore, your voice recorder, aka the thing that saves your game, also has a limited battery life, but can't be recharged, and it costs energy to both save and load your game. So if you die because you fired your gun a moment too soon or too many times and ran out of juice, loading your game is going to cost you. There's no getting around the fact that Enemy Zero is incredibly unforgiving.
Yeah,
but
this
hold
game
on
is
there,
hard as fuck.
things aren't so bad. Contrary to what your crew members say and how they move in the cutscenes, the creatures actually move very slowly. They seem to wander around aimlessly, never actively seeking you out. I'd say about half the creatures in this game can be circumvented, and quite easily since your tracker has enormous range. Once you get a feel for how your tracker works, it's easy to get a beat on a creature and then find another way around. I also highly recommend you pop in Disc 0. Yeah, I know, really clever, right? And practice on the training mode. Second, I recommend playing on either easy or beginner. On easy, you start with 99 battery life instead of 64, and your guns last a little longer. Now saving still costs 4 points and loading still costs 2, but it actually makes things pretty balanced and brings the game down to a manageable difficulty. And just because the game spans 3 discs doesn't mean it's super long, requiring tons of saves. Remember, there's a lot of CGI here. I died a few times in the beginning, but after I got the hang of things, it was smooth sailing until that marathon segment late in the game. But by then, you get a gun that never runs out of energy, so that's good.
Do you have to?
And though I died a lot on that final
it?
stretch, I still beat the game with dozens of points to spare. And if you still find yourself intimidated, there's no shame in playing on beginner, where your recorder also has 99 battery life but only takes 1 charge to save and load. Also, you never have to recharge your guns on beginner, they all have unlimited ammo.
I've beaten Enemy Zero on both easy and beginner, and nothing about the ending changes, and only an extremely minor, pretty much incidental thing changes about the story. Well, I guess the one difference is if you beat the game on normal, you unlock hard mode, where there's more creatures, less battery life, and even fewer charges for your gun. Fuck you, no thanks.
Ooh, there's a bonus shower scene when you play on hard. What am I, in 7th grade? Still not interested. And did Kenji Eno hide this scene from the censors too? How the hell did that guy keep getting teen-rated games? I guess this is another semi-morality crisis, like depending on online facts. But if you can live with playing on easy, then Enemy Zero is a very fun challenge, albeit still very unforgiving.
Kenji Eno is a man that not so much knows how to write a good story, but he definitely knows how to tell one. For example, if I told you the whole story to D, explaining everything, you'd probably say, "That's it? Doesn't sound so great." Because it was the way he spoon-fed the details to you through cryptic messages from your father and the fragmented images from Laura's subconscious. And the same thing applies with Enemy Zero. The story itself isn't all that. In fact, it's an obvious amalgamation of many science fiction classics. It's still expertly told. Mr. Eno masterfully creates a setting with the spaceship Aki and quickly establishes her crew's dilemma.
The reason I want this game is the story.
He slowly reveals the truth of what's really going on, and then throws in a couple of curveball twists that completely change everything. Again, if I explain the whole plot here for you, you'd be missing the experience of watching these events unfold in front of you. Just like with D, Enemy Zero is not a game to be spoiled.
A lot of the strength from the story comes from its characters, especially the main protagonist, Laura. Again, she's not Laura Harris from D.
This is the point I make with spoilers. If some games or movies, I don't care how old they are ones that can be completely ruined if you get spoiled. And like Enemy Zero, spoiling it completely ruins the game. So now the other thing too is not a lot of people are going to have an opportunity to play this game because it's so rare. But if I get my hands on it, I'll stream it for you guys. Like I said, because this is one game I just can't pass up on. This is like, I know I keep saying this, but this is my like holy grail for Saturn collecting. This is the one Sega Saturn game I want more than anything else. And like I have like 10 Sega Saturn games. I don't have a huge collection, but I have enough now that I like the system and I like some of the stuff that I've gotten for it. So I really, really want to get this. Also, Street Fighter the movie, the game for Saturn. Blondie gave that to me. Or Blondie in One Roll. Oh no, it was CJ in One Roll. They gave that to me at Anime North. So I could play that at some point. If you guys really want to see that. But anyways, yeah,
She's Laura Lewis this time. She is once again a silent protagonist, though she is still very believable as a person because she reacts to things the way a human being ought to. Let me explain. In Resident Evil, it always bugged me when you would pick up a file or a picture that revealed some huge plot twist, but your character seemed to be completely unaware of what they just saw.
For example, I think everyone knows the big plot twist at the end of the first Resident Evil, which was revealed more or less when a character you've known the whole game suddenly appears in a photograph. Now instead of your character going like, "Holy fuck, what's he doing in this photograph?" they're completely unaffected, and it takes you out of the game when your character doesn't react to a bombshell of a plot point.
It was so satisfying to stumble upon a really big plot twist in a document in Enemy Zero and see Laura fall to her knees in complete shock, reacting like an actual person. Again, she never speaks, but when the shit hits the fan, she responds like a genuine human being. I was able to accept that maybe she's just a shy, quiet woman, not someone who doesn't talk because it's convenient for the storyteller, though that may have been the reason. In D, Laura never spoke, but that's just how the game was designed. The only speaking
Sorry
role
guys,
was
I had to put
Laura's father,
sub-only mode on
who,
because
as a
some
matter of
people
fact,
were,
only spoke in the English version.
I got a couple of bots
In the
while I
Japanese
went to
version, it was all
BRB.
text. Here they made an attempt
Sorry
to give our
if some of you guys have
heroine
been
a
trying to chat and you
soul
couldn't.
instead of a voice, which I personally found made her easier to sympathize with. Though technically Laura does have a voice.
Voice record number 013, Laura Lewis.
Sorry guys if you hear my fan.
And
I
though
just
these
turned it
parts
on.
are
Like,
excellently
I'm
performed
really
by
warm.
Luscious Jackson frontwoman Jill Cuniff, they're only inner monologues recounting recent developments in the story and are dictated in an appropriate monotone. It's convenient for people resuming old games and a pretty cool feature, but doesn't build Laura's character or draw you more into the story. Of course, this is of no fault to
Sorry,
Mrs.
Raiders,
Cuniff's performance.
That you guys couldn't
For a
chat
character
before.
that,
You guys
as
can
far as
chat
the
now.
story goes, never speaks, she's still incredibly well developed and believable. Given the state of voice work during the early PlayStation and Sega Saturn days, it was definitely a smart move to have the lead character remain silent. Enemy Zero not only has a great story, but a lot of story, most of it told through cutscenes of characters physically speaking to each other. And much like most games that came out in the mid to late 90s, the voice work here is really bad, but not all of it. The actor who voiced Kimberly must be singled out, as she stands head and shoulders above everyone else.
Parker! Oh, please, Parker!
Oh yeah, and before some of you start reading too deep into this game, saying, oh geez, how typical, the black guy not only dies first, but dies in the opening cinema before the game even starts. Well, the black girl becomes one of the story's most important characters and gets a ton of screen time, and they found a damn good actor to play her, so shut up. The voice work is a mixed bag, but 2 of the 3 lead characters were completely believable, and I very much enjoyed the story all the way to the end. And for a game this old, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
The game also keeps things interesting by having a number of awesome puzzles to bridge the gaps between story development and fighting aliens. So get ready to take a few notes. But I had a few minor issues. Much like in D, halfway through Enemy Zero there's a sequence that drags on a little too long. The game opens up, giving you a bunch of places to explore, but with little to no direction. It's not game ruining, but it's a very noticeable section where game progress stalls. Another issue is the very first puzzle you encounter. I don't know what the hell they were thinking here, but the solution to this puzzle is never actually given to you. Without any indication, you're supposed to just guess the solution all by yourself.
That's a horrible way to start a game. Like, how is I supposed to know? You gotta figure it out all on your own. But now you know, so no complaining.
And one must mention the music. Kenji Eno is many things, including a very accomplished musician. For example, all the music in D was written and performed by him. Pfft, the dude is a mutant. But Enemy Zero features a score written by accomplished composer Michael Nyman, who is best known for writing the score to the 1993 award-winning drama The Piano, winning himself a Golden Globe and BAFTA nomination for his contribution. I wasn't too surprised to find out that a Hollywood-level composer was responsible for the music in this game because it's incredible. But how Mr. Eno got him to do the soundtrack is actually a pretty funny story. To quote from his interview with OneUp.com, there was a big earthquake in Kobe, Japan in 1995, and Michael Nyman was donating pianos to schools in the city. Later, he said he wanted to check out how the pianos were doing, so he came to Japan. When I found out, I invited him to my hotel room and tried to convince him for 6 hours to come work with me. So at the end, Michael was like, okay, I'll do it, just let me go back to my room. We didn't work out terms or conditions, he just said he would do it. And one last thing, Aiko and Shadow of the Colossus director Fumito Ueda got his start as an animator for Enemy Zero. Though according to that same interview, he wasn't with Warp Games for very long. And Mr. Eno doesn't take any credit for his success. Quote, I handpicked him because I saw his potential, but it's not like I groomed him or anything. He already had talent when he came to work.
So in closing, Enemy Zero is an interesting little horror gem. It has its flaws, and just like with D, some will be able to overlook these flaws and others will not. But it's worth mentioning that even though D came out on 3 different consoles, Enemy Zero only came out on the Saturn. So if you're a die-hard Sega Saturn fan, there is no reason you shouldn't own this game. Now, we're almost done with the D trilogy. We got one last game to talk about, which is, of course, D2 for the Dreamcast. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
Hell yeah. Oh, there's probably going to be an ad, isn't there? I'm just going to pause this here. So you don't get an ad. All right. D2.
Yogo Canadian Harvest.
God damn it. God fucking damn it. Of course. Thing is, you can't even see when the ads come up anymore. They took that feature off. So you don't know when they're coming. Whatever, it supports Uncle Derek. I do have this game, though, so I can play this at some point.
Can be called the D trilogy came to a close with D2 for the Dreamcast. And much like the first D and its Sega Saturn pseudo-sequel Enemy Zero, D2 was a bit of a watershed game. Not exactly perfect, it's a very unique game whose crazy ideas work more than they don't. It is a stunningly beautiful game by Dreamcast standards, an excellent spin on typical survival horror conventions, and features first-rate voice work, but is marred by an awkwardly paced, sometimes directionless story that above all far overstays its welcome. Everything else is creative and engaging, but that story? And you thought Kojima was long-winded. D2 once again showcases that Kenji Eno was and is truly one of the great creative minds in video games, but it is somehow both the most and least accessible entry in the trilogy.
Yeah.
It is the same level of flawed genius we expect from Mr. Eno, but while previous entries had their flaws, those were design choices, necessary evils. The narrative of D2 feels like a genuine misstep. A must-have for horror and Dreamcast enthusiasts, but at times is difficult to recommend to all gamers.
Yeah, unfortunately.
As I mentioned in my review of D, D2 started life as the flagship title for Panasonic's M2, which was to be the successor to its marginally successful 3DO. This version of D2 was to be a direct sequel to D, though instead involving Laura Harris's son. It was allegedly 50% finished when Panasonic canceled plans to release its next system. Luckily, Warp Games had established a solid relationship with Sega, who at the time was developing their next system, the Dreamcast. Kenji Eno decided to completely scrap the previous game and start from scratch with Sega's new system. So, along with Shenmue and Sonic Adventure, D2 was among the first games developed for the Dreamcast. However, it wasn't released until late August of 2000, almost 1 year after the system had been released.
Laura Parton, no, not Laura Harris or Lewis, Parton, is traveling on a plane fighting to stay awake. Laura goofs around with the kid sitting in the seat in front of her and strikes up a conversation with the man across from her aisle, when the plane is suddenly taken over by terrorists, who seem to be working for a mysterious old man performing what looks like a seance. Oh, and if you watch closely, the in-flight movie is actually footage from the scrapped version of D2. Things go from bad to worse when a meteor strikes the plane, sending it crashing down into a desolate Canadian mountain. Laura wakes up in a cabin, miraculously unharmed, makeup still intact, thanks to the help of, hey, it's Kimberly from Enemy Zero! She starts to explain what's happened since the plane crash when a man bursts in and starts violently sprouting plant-like tentacles that attack Kimberly and... Yep, stay classy, Japan. But our heroines are saved by, hey, it's Parker! And he's kicking some ass instead of dying off in the opening cinema like he did in Enemy Zero. This is where we find out that Kimberly is a pretty conflicted woman, and the game and its story officially begin.
It's a rather long opening that kicks off a promising story, both deep and fascinating, that unfortunately ends up being the game's most glaring flaw.
Here's how I imagined it went down. Kenji Eno released D in Enemy Zero and was fittingly applauded by critics for his storytelling abilities. Then a little game called Metal Gear Solid came out, and Mr. Eno said, hey, I can do that too! Ditching a more minimalist structure like Boo! Haunted Castle or Boo! Space Aliens! D2 is much more than just a plane crash and green plant-like aliens. It attempts to make broad statements about the errors of mankind and the flaws of human nature, illustrate the effects of substance abuse, demonstrate the stages and struggles of an existential crisis, and ask sobering questions about the concepts of identity and destiny. The story is very deep, going places philosophically few games have ever gone before. In typical Kenji Eno style, he has taken the road less traveled. I have no doubt that hidden in this mess of a story is a profound message, but I couldn't be bothered to search for one. The story lacks cohesion and at times can't decide which message it's trying to enlighten you with. It's simply too much. Though when discussing a story of this depth and ambition, there's no accounting for taste, so it's fair to argue these claims. But even if you did enjoy the story, you gotta admit, it could have been trimmed way down. I mean, a bad story I can forgive, but when it starts to overstay its welcome, it hurts the game. Kojima makes this shit look easy. As far as the problems with the narrative, the biggest culprit is our heroine, Laura. She is once again a silent protagonist, and though that worked fine in D and Enemy Zero, it's no longer working here. The story has just far too much shit going on this time, and if Laura were able to talk to the other people, it would have helped things immeasurably. Hey, you're awake, what happened to you? I don't know, I can't remember anything. Hi, my name is Laura. Oh, hi, Laura, I'm Kimberly. I need your help to get the fuck out of here. No problem, thanks for giving me shelter. I'm with you, friend. Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh, shit, ah! Instead, we have long sequences where characters rattle on and on and on, and these sequences aren't engaging because usually, Laura's just sitting there listening. She hardly contributes to anything, and as far as story progression goes, she's like a stowaway. She might as well be Wilson. Actually, Laura does finally break her silence, but it's literally 4 words. I think during these moments I was supposed to be moved and shocked. I was neither.
I mean, she talks.
This mute lead character approach worked especially well in Enemy Zero because Laura was actively pushing the story forward, contributing to the plot. Here, people talk, she listens, things happen, and they say, "What do you say, Laura? Can you help?" These lengthy dialogue scenes try really hard to get me to care about what's happening, and it did for a while, but by the time the credits started to roll, I had checked out hours ago. If they had caved and finally given Laura a voice, maybe it would have sped things along. To be fair, the amount of dialogue sequences never changed through the 4 discs, but things start to pick up after disc 1. The first disc is definitely the most boring. Things start to get really interesting on disc 2, but by the time disc 3 rolls around, the story has taken an odd turn and starts getting all philosophical. We spend much more time with characters venting introspectively, and crazy shit like the plane crash and the plant creatures aren't really discussed anymore. Not to mention, they keep introducing new characters, providing backstory that's seldom important, only to kill them off sometimes later that very cutscene. Things like the plane crash and the plant creatures are explained, but not in as much detail as, say, Kimberly's past. In fact, I think by the end of the game, I knew most not about Laura, Parker, the green monsters, the plane crash, but about Kimberly's tragic upbringing and life story. Yeah, you had a rough childhood, but there's plant aliens all over this mountain. Is this really the best time to be having an existential crisis? Why don't you shut up, grab a gun, and help me get us the fuck out of here? Enemy Zero and D were amazing pieces of storytelling, but unfortunately, Mr. Eno dropped the ball on this one. It's really upsetting that the story is so bad because nearly everything else is great. This may surprise you to hear this, but the dialogue scenes are actually well written and very well voiced. Yeah, characters ramble on, but the actual dialogue ain't bad. And more importantly, that voice work is top notch. Though the lip sync is atrocious, this ain't Shenmue.
Must be lost along with the other passengers from the crash.
Shitty lip sync was the norm back then, so it's forgiven. And though the content of the story is more weird than scary, I'd still classify D2 as survival horror. But then again, this is Warp Games, so of course D2 has its own approach to survival horror.
Yeah.
For people who enjoyed Resident Evil 4 but can't stand the controls of older Resident Evil games, might squirm in their seats to discover that Laura controls in that familiar tank style, where up always moves you forward and left and right always rotates you. Now, I for one have never had a problem with the tank controls, but agree they shouldn't have stayed a staple of the genre for as long as they did. D2 fixes this mistake by having combat take place in the first person. This not only brings a really cool RPG mechanic to the game, it saves the game from horrible combat spoiled by slow movement and awkward camera angles. It also makes the boss battles a hell of a lot more interesting. There's even aspects of QuickTime events. You could argue that Resident Evil 4 was very much inspired by D2. Then again, D2 was probably inspired by Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
This does give the game random battle syndrome, but moments are typically brief and fun. It works more than it doesn't. But this is survival horror, and if you're gonna survive, you'll need an ample amount of ammo and health supplies. But since combat is all random battles, things are balanced with weapons that have both limited and unlimited ammo. You start the game with an Uzi that you just find in a cupboard, and though it's the weakest weapon, it has unlimited ammo. Shotguns and handguns have limited ammo but pack more firepower and accuracy that help when you're in a pinch or battling a tough boss. You eventually get a semi-automatic rifle that replaces the Uzi, though it's still nothing on that shotgun. Ammo is scattered all over the game, but this makes these standard on-rails indoor sequences finally engaging. If you spot a box of ammo or some first aid spray, hold down the Y button, look at it, and you'll automatically pick it up and add it to your inventory. Keep a sharp eye, because there's stuff hidden everywhere. And while you're at it, check out the detail of the world around you. It's a damn pretty game. So you have a few guns with unlimited ammo, but you have to depend on first aid sprays to keep your health up? Nah, there's another way to replenish your health. Hunting. Your first weapon is actually a hunting rifle,
one of my most quoted
though you never
quotes.
use it in battle. Instead, as you explore the mountain, you'll come across game to kill, like caribou and hare. Successfully shoot one and you'll be rewarded with some meat. Now, meat doesn't replenish nearly as much health as first aid sprays, but I don't think there's any limit to the amount of game you can carry. This hunting mechanic not only keeps things balanced in the presence of random battles, it's actually a clever way to make you appreciate how beautiful this game is. Play this game for a while and you'll start squinting at any black dot just over the horizon. Wait a minute, is that a bunny? Oh, it's just a fence post sticking out of the snow. I wanted to kill a bunny. Yeah, this game will totally bring out the cold-hearted predator in you. But hunting isn't as easy as you'd think. This isn't Halo. Your rifle controls pretty realistically, especially when you're fully zoomed in. There's a lot of game to score out there, but you gotta earn it. But don't worry, you got unlimited ammo with this thing too. Though I do love this piece of video game logic.
You can put the game you caught in this portable cooker. It automatically cleans and cooks the meat.
Sure it does.
So you can eat whenever you're hungry. It's pretty good.
Wait a minute, how exactly is something that complicated portable? Where is Laura keeping that thing? Oh well. I've said for a Dreamcast game, D2 was absolutely beautiful, but its crowning achievement is the Canadian mountain. Snowfalls and tree branches and lights sway and bob in the wind. Wild animals populate the mountain and frolic and flee when they hear the sound of footsteps or the sound of a rifle. Cabins and fences are buried in snow and caked with ice, emphasizing the presence and power of nature. As the game progresses, so does the weather, from daytime, sunset, and nightfall. Warp did an exceptional job creating a snow-covered mountain that feels isolated and unforgiving. This mountain is alive and real. It's really a shame there wasn't like a body temperature mechanic. That's how realistic it feels. I was actually worried if Laura was wearing enough clothes to stay warm. And I've already mentioned the indoor buildings and cabins. After you've collected your ammo and first aid spray, check out how meticulously decorated they are. The interior of the plane wreckage is especially impressive too. However, why is this poor deceased woman missing her pants? Stay classy, Japan. There's one sequence where you use a flashlight in a mine shaft and the lighting effects are great. The characters and enemies are all amazingly detailed, but again, the creatures are more weird looking than scary. D2 doesn't just look good, but at times feels real. I played my share of survival horror games, so I know the importance of being conservative with your ammo and health supplies. So by the time I got to the end boss of D2, I had so much firepower and first aid sprays, he didn't stand a chance. And I was ready to declare this a disappointment. And then it occurred to me, I've had the exact same problem with Silent Hill and Resident Evil. In fact, most every survival horror game I played had this problem.
I just finished that game.
The final boss was a total pushover because I'd spent the whole game rationing my health items and ammo. But it must be mentioned that that final push to the last boss of D2 was far and away the toughest struggle of the game, sometimes bordering on cheap. Item management is also something missing, but it's something I can't hold against D2 because of the random battles. It's a necessary evil I can overlook, and besides, this RPG approach to survival horror is really cool.
Yeah.
And with that, we've completed the D trilogy, so let's recap things. D was great, but short. Enemy Zero was also great, but really hard. D2 was unique, beautiful, and a ton of fun, but gah, that story. Do you see a pattern? But Warp and Kenji Eno made the games they wanted to make, and the games they wanted to make were always unconventional. The D trilogy was not made with everyone in mind. And even though each of these games had their flaws, they're still unlike anything else out there. Though I'll concede that D2 felt to me that it was long-winded and desperately grasping for a cohesive message, there's no accounting for taste. Some people thought No Country for Old Men was boring. I thought it was brilliant. On the other hand, I think 2001 is awful, while others see it as a perfect piece of cinema. Maybe you'll enjoy the story to D2 more than I did, especially now that you know what to expect. Regardless, my point is this.
That is another one I want
The
to stream
D
at some
trilogy
point,
may
too.
be an imperfect
Probably
one,
not this
but it is
year,
still
but I do
one that
wanna stream it.
demands your attention. They will challenge your perception of storytelling, and they will challenge your perception of how a video game ought to be structured. And in the end, this is the trilogy's greatest achievement.
Well, I'm done with the D trilogy, but I'm not done with Halloween. Up next, I got a Halloween game for the ages. See you soon. Cheers.
Alright. But yeah, no. So that's the D trilogy. I'm glad I got to share that with you guys. There's also a video about Kenji Eno that they've made recently, like a year ago. But in all honesty, I'm feeling pretty wiped. I'm still feeling pretty sick, and I'm probably gonna go right to bed. So, I think I'm gonna call it here, guys, and find someone to raid. So let's see who is on. Let's see. Let's see. Who's in my Who's Live? Lucy. Is Lucy still live? Let's see who else is. Let's go to Twitch. Let's see. The convenience store? That's funny. Let's see. Is there anybody else I want to raid? The clam's doing ASMR again. Let's see. Lon's doing Minecraft. So he's doing Krunker. Let's see. Jerry's doing Grey's Anatomy, which I thought was hilarious. Lucy's still doing Dungeons and Dragons. You know what? Let's raid Lucy.
You have to get me from.
God damn it! Really? You're gonna do this to me? I'm on your website, Twitch. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see.
Fucking forces him to get back here with the spear and try. While you two are fucking.
Yeah. Swoon, Pickle, Big Red,
All right.
Hoss.
Is that the end of your turn?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets an extra
Alright.
thing with attacking. Yeah.
Perfect.
Alright. We're gonna raid Lucy.
All right.
So here's the raid message if you're
Because I'm gonna make
subbed.
Maxim and the Wolves go at the end,
If
too.
you
I'm just
are
gonna make
not
all them,
subbed,
like,
here's
all
the raid
extra characters
message.
just go at the end.
Guys,
Okay,
don't
so
forget
yeah,
to join the Discord server here. Follow my social medias here. And you can find TikTok and YouTube here. Once again, raid message if you are subbed. If you are not subbed, there's the raid message. I'll see you guys on Saturday. I think Pixelmon's back on. I gotta just fix my shit for that. But if not, there'll be something to play on Saturday. I'm gonna go sleep now. And hopefully feel better in the morning when I go to work. Luckily, I work from home tomorrow, so it should be a fairly light day. So I don't see it being that big of a deal. But yeah, no. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Take care. Comb your hair. In a rush, use a brush. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Eat your teeth. I'll see you next time on Cheat. And have a good one, guys. Take care. Alright, this raid is going to happen here soon. And thanks, Snowfox, Karama, Nightman. Guys, thanks for all your help. I'm going to talk about something in my chat soon in the server, so keep an eye on that. Alright, raid's happening. Bye! Say hi to Lucy for me. Bye.
Just carry it around in that.
It's not the same.
It's not the fucking same. He said it's not the same.